guys, welcome back to Doug's Basement Workshop. So, I've done a couple of projects I think on here, sorry I'm moving stuff around, of doing some slab work and some stuff without the crumb tray. And you may have seen me using these little blocks as I'm doing it. These are little stepped blocks that my project sits on. I've got 4 of them here. On the bottom of one of them, I have the height of my crumb tray written down. So, I'm going to show you guys real quick how I set up to do slab work that is over 1/2 millimeter or 1/2 inch thick, since that's all the Glowforge will let us do. So, the main tool that I use is a caliper. This is a Husqvarna caliper from Home Depot. You can get ones from Harbor Freight. I got to tell you, my Husky is much better. And the Harbor Freight ones that I've had, I destroy them so quickly it's not even funny. Granted, that's out in the shop with the CNC machine. There's a lot more dust and particulate matter. Alright, I'm not going to be able to be on camera with the Glowforge, but we're going to flip the camera around and set it up and let you guys see what I'm working on and try and give you guys an idea of how I set it up so you can do the same thing. I'm going to try to talk to the guy who makes this design. I got this off of Etsy, and you can get the same thing. Now, when I got mine, it was made for 1/4 inch material, and I only have 3 millimeter, so I just cut the pieces twice and made it that way, and glued 2 pieces together each time I did it. So I don't know if that really comes out in camera, but that's how I made mine. So, let me show you how I use these to do some slab work. Okay, I'm going to turn on our calipers here in the center. Make sure we're zeroed. Now, I need to find out the height of my crumb tray from the silver plate in the bottom. So I'm going to go through one of the holes, and as you pull your calipers apart, depending on what kinds you get this little thin piece, and your numbers show up here. If you never use calipers, and there's a little dial here for doing micro adjustment. So we're going to stick this piece down through the hole in the crumb tray, and carefully move it, get our measurement, check it in a couple of places here. We should be getting the same number each time we do this. If you're not, either your calipers aren't very good or there's something really wrong with your Glowforge. So I'm getting a 1.2, even though my block says 1.5. You know what? I'm not measuring the bottom of the crumb tray. I'm measuring the bottom of the crumb tray, not the silver down below. So let's zero these again. Let's see, I shouldn't be off by that much. 1.5. There we go. 1.53. 1.51. 1.53. 1.54. So I'm going to go with 1.53. So we'll put the blocks up here on the wall, pull this down. Yes, you can see my Glowforge is used heavily. And we do clean it, the parts that are important and that are moving. So you take our crumb tray straight out and set it down here. And now we can put our blocks in. Take our piece of wood, cherry slab, beetlework on one side and bark on the other. What an amazing little slice I got here. And we'll block this up. And I'm using the top notch down, the top step. So, make sure I don't do poor public math here. I'm going to have my phone sitting here with my calculator open. We're going to take our calipers, make sure they're back to 0. Push it down. And I have 1.8 So I'm going to take the 1.53 minus 1.8, and that means my thickness from 0 of crumb tray is 0.27. Alright, I'm going to center this and try and square it up a little bit. I'm not going to tape this because the top of my board's a little rough. I'm going to just let it smoke and then sand it off afterwards, if it's needed. My Glowforge has been off up until now. I'm now going to turn it on. Alright, let's go over to the computer and set it up on the computer now. Glowforge setting itself up in the background. So just kind of be patient with that sound going on. So right here is actually, I dropped this in before I started talking, what I bought off of Etsy. And these little boxes here drop into the tabs over here. And it's a really simple design to cut out. Now it took me a lot because I cut all the pieces twice to make the double thickness so that it actually worked. You can see he recommends 1/4 inch material. I was using 1/8 inch. Now I could have cut the tabs in and driven the little pegs down in, but I wanted my blocks super tight. I super glued it and accelerator spray on it. So you can see the little blocks are sitting around there. Alright, so we're going to get rid of this because we're not cutting that out today. We are going to do some engraving. So we're going to grab our piece here, drag it over. Now before I started this, I took my piece up here to the corner and figured out that it was roughly twice as long as it is tall. So I could go out and cut my slab out in the shop and not worry about it not fitting right. So we're going to blow this up. And even though I have amazing faith in my Glowforge, I'm going to leave it a little bit of room to shift as I work. I'm going to come over here to my engrave, and pine round or cherry wood is the ones that I use for this. Now this is a hardwood, so I'm going to use my cherry wood settings. My focal height was 2.8, I think. I really hope that's right, because if not, I'm going to be in trouble. Okay, let's go back in and try that again. 2.8. 0.28. Alright. We're going to leave the power a little high because this is a very hard wood. Black walnut's hard. And speed of 1,000. We don't want to be here all day. And we will set our focus right over that. Now sometimes what I try to do, guys, is get my piece lined up directly under the center of the main camera. But I don't always get it there, and I don't always remember before I sit down, and I may go move it here in a second. Because I find that it tends to line up better because you have that fisheye effect from that center lens. And you get less shifting when you do it that way. You know what? I'm going to go shift this to the center and see if that works better. Okay. Now I'll wait for the Glowforge to catch back up again. I've got it pretty much dead center underneath the lens.
Put down, tip it just a hair.
Alright, we'll set focus again, make sure we're all good to go. And I always cut my pieces, because obviously this is the way I'm cutting, is at the top or the bottom. I try to make them a little bit long, knowing that I can only square it up out in the shop if I'm a little off. So that's kind of my secret to this, is if I can get my left and right correct, I can always adjust my top and bottom a little bit with the saw in the shop. Well, that changed it quite a bit. Shrink that down. Rather be safe than sorry.
Alright.
Let's see how much time this is going to take. So while we're sitting here waiting, how many of you guys are going to be doing the the accelerated program here. I'm most interested in the fast lane more than anything else. That sounds really fascinating because I have slow internet already, and I just don't have the time to sit around waiting for some of this stuff to go. All right, 1951. Let's go run this, guys. Okay guys, I don't think that recorded. So just in case, I'm going to do this again. I love it. I think we need a little bit of sanding up here where there's some burrs in the wood. I think I want to turn the power up just a little bit higher and get this a little bit of a deeper burn, so when I'm sanding I can take off some more of the material without worrying about messing up my design. I'm not going to put oil on this. The oil makes the black walnut too dark for the design to really show up well. We're just going to use a spray polyurethane on top. Probably going to take 6 or 7 coats, but that's well worth it for something this beautiful and black walnut. So let me know what you guys think. Give me a thumbs up if you like this one, guys. And I gotta say, those little stands that I use in my laser are well worth a couple of dollars in material and to buy the design. So I love it. I love my little stands. Today we're looking at a little project that I've been working on, and I've got to say it was a fail. Now clearly my camera's not going to pick this up because you're so far away from me, so I'll put little pictures up here in the corner. This is the one that I did on the laser. In the next video, the next clip you're going to see is me laying this out on a piece of black walnut. And I'll take a picture of it, and like I said, we'll put it up there in the corner for you. It just blends in too much with the black walnut, and it didn't work anywhere near what I was hoping for. I love this art. I think it's beautiful. I think on a different kind of wood, this would be prime art with just oil or spray finish. This is just spray finish on it. Did not work the way I wanted it to. So I tried just some different art. This one is a sun catcher, dream catcher. And again, I'll put a picture up here because I'm sure you guys can't see it. And it came out beautifully. The color contrast. I used spray paint. I left the tape on, or I put tape on this one, left it on, spray painted, and then sanded the surface. And this one just has tung oil on it. The last one, now this one I think the lines are too thin to make it really look the way I wanted it to. The last one is this. This is my Alaska bear because my English teacher in my life loves Alaska. And this one I did with green spray paint, just one light coat, with the tape on, sanded it off. This is by far 110% my favorite on the black walnut. I'm not going to have this problem when I'm not using black walnut. I love black walnut. I have a ton of it. I've milled it down myself with a chainsaw and made slabs. Some of the stuff may end up going to pine and pear wood and some of the other woods that I have here, because I think it'll look better, the cherry. But I have all these live edge slabs I want to do something fun with. So if you want to try this, I highly recommend painting it with the tape on, sand the surface a little bit, and then whatever you want to use to finish, either a tongue oil, a spray finish. I gotta tell you, spray finishing this, it takes a lot of coats because you have the end grain and the type of wood takes a lot of coats. This is all bark on, live edge, so the spray finish helps preserve your bark on better than the tongue oil will. But this is art hanging on a wall, sitting on a stand. You don't necessarily need to have that spray finish on there for the bark retention. And this is all extremely dry. This has all been sitting for 2 years before I turned it into a slab. So this is extremely dry, perfect lumber for doing this type of project. Alright guys, the next thing you're going to see is me setting up the wolf project, and unfortunately it didn't go as well, but let me show you how I set it up and how I use my blocks to do it. Alright guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. Remember to like, subscribe, enjoy your day. Have a good one.